Southampton, April 10th, 1912. The air crackles with anticipation. Behold, the RMS Titanic, a floating palace hailed as unsinkable. She is the grandest ship ever built, a beacon of Edwardian luxury, setting sail on a journey meant to etch itself into history. The world watches, unaware of the tragedy lurking beneath the horizon. From his private promenade, Mr. Allister watches the third class scramble aboard. Look at them, he thinks, the words unsaid but heavy with judgment. Crammed into the steerage like cattle, they pay a pittance for the privilege of proximity. Still, their eagerness is amusing. For Allister, the voyage is a celebration of his own wealth, far removed from the dirt and dreams of the lower decks.
Meet Liam. His third-class ticket cost every penny his family saved. He clutches a worn satchel, his eyes fixed not on the ballroom, but on the future. New York, he whispers, a new life, a new chance. The sacrifice of leaving his home is a heavy one. But the promise of America, delivered by this colossal ship, is brighter than any sun.
Day 2. A fleeting moment of fate. On a winding staircase, the elegant Miss Charlotte, first class, lifts her head and her eyes lock with Liam, third class. It's a connection instantaneous and electric, a silent conversation of longing and impossibility. A forbidden gaze, separated by wealth, by custom, and by the very architecture of the ship.
Captain Edward Smith surveys the endless azure Atlantic, his final triumphant command. He carries the weight of 2,000 souls, yet feels only assurance. The Titanic is a masterpiece, a promise of safety. Unsinkable, the papers declared. He smiles, a man satisfied with his destiny. No premonition, only pride in the vessel beneath his feet.
The first-class dining saloon, a dazzling spectacle of Edwardian excess. French cuisine, diamond necklaces, silk gowns, and starched tuxedos. Conversations revolve around stock markets and Parisian holidays. This is a world contained, a gilded cage of privilege, gliding swiftly through the dark, cold sea.
Young Thomas, a junior steward, is checking a supply closet when he finds a girl, a stowaway, not for America, but from a past she desperately flees. The exchange is swift and tense. "I need to be away from him," she pleads. Thomas, bound by duty but moved by her terror, makes a silent promise of temporary protection.
The wireless room, where vital warnings are easily dismissed. 6 messages chatter across the airwaves, reporting ice fields. But the backlog of private, frivolous telegrams is too great. A tired operator files the latest warning. No one on the bridge is alerted to the urgency. The world's fastest communication fails its greatest test.
April 13th diary. Dear diary, today the sun was so big. I made friends with a kind lady who lets me watch her dog walk on the promenade deck. Mommy says we will see America soon. My favorite room is the pool, even though it is too cold to swim. I love our big, noisy ship. In the quiet reading room, Mr. and Mrs. Sinclair, traveling for a golden anniversary, discuss their life. "Do you think this great machine can truly conquer the ocean, dear?" she asks. He replies, "We are all but a moment in time, my love. Whether by steamship or sail, our destination is always fixed. For now, we simply enjoy the voyage."
High above the dark water, the lookouts squint into the inky blackness. It is 11:30 p.m. The sea is eerily calm, too calm, a flat mirror reflecting no warning waves. "What are you thinking, Fred?" asks Lee. "Just wishing for my binoculars and that the old man would slow this beast down a touch."
The fatal sighting. A dark shape looms, closer, larger, faster. "Iceberg right ahead!" The shouted warning slices through the night. The telephone rings below. Quartermaster Hitchens at the wheel. "Hard to starboard!" The command is given, but the turning is too slow. The unsinkable is now on a collision course. Down in the depths of third class, Liam is jolted awake. It wasn't a crash, more like the tearing of 1,000 sheets of iron, a deep, grinding shudder that vibrates through his very bones. It lasts only 10 seconds, a subtle violence that hints at monumental damage. He wonders if they simply hit a wave too hard. In the first-class smoking room, Mr. Allister is mid-sentence about his investments when a steward passes, mentioning a slight incident. "Nonsense," Allister chuckles. "This ship could hit the Statue of Liberty and barely notice. A bit of ice? Let the great ship carry on." Disbelief is the shield of privilege. Down, far down. The engine room is a chaotic hell. Engineers are waist-deep in freezing water, the sea breaching the hull in 5 separate compartments. The chief engineer, a man of iron will, knows the truth. 5 compartments is fatal. His focus shifts from sailing to delaying the inevitable.
Captain Smith stands before the architect, Thomas Andrews. The words are a death sentence. The ship is doomed. The realization hits Smith like a physical blow. Hours, not days. The pride is gone, replaced by the crushing weight of duty to the 2,000 souls he promised safe passage. Amidst the growing panic, Mr. Allister encounters Liam near a locked gate. In a moment of sheer terror, Allister sees not a peasant, but a man. He shoves a small, intricately carved wooden box into Liam's hand. "Take this. If I don't make it, deliver it to my daughter in New York. It's everything." The secret, now Liam's burden, is a desperate measure of a man facing oblivion. The ice is singing a terrifying song. Below deck, the great ship is beginning to tear itself apart, piece by piece. The wrenching of rivets, the protesting groan of steel beams under unbearable pressure. It is the sound of an unsinkable promise being savagely broken by the cold, indifferent ocean. The steward, whose duty it is to wake his assigned first-class guests, sees the panicked faces of the crew. He knows the danger is real. He has a wife in Southampton. Does he complete his rounds, preserving the veneer of calm, or rush to save himself? He chooses his duty, but with every knock, his heart screams. The first lifeboats kiss the water. They are the promised salvation, yet most are half empty. Panic is not yet total, but confusion reigns. "Women and children first!" the officers cry. The dark irony is palpable. There are not enough boats for all, and the ones being lowered are not filled to capacity. The lights of the great ship mock the fragile craft below. A man, well-dressed, reaches the rail. A seat awaits him, but a young mother, clutching a toddler, stumbles. He looks at his place, then at her terrified face. He steps back. "Please, madam," he says, his voice steady. "Get in. I'll wait for the next one." It is a quiet, profound act, a life bartered for a stranger's hope. As the deck slopes, the band plays. Their music is an act of defiance against the inevitable, a final, beautiful offering of peace. It is the sound of civilization facing chaos with dignity. The violinist's bows move with an unnatural calm, a haunting counterpoint to the screams. The angle is now undeniable. The ship is slowly, inexorably tilting. Furniture slides,
people lose their footing. What was once the floor becomes a dangerous incline. The sea is closer now, visible over the rail, a hungry, black beast waiting for its meal.
Miss Charlotte and Liam find each other by the remaining rail. No time for words of love, only words of farewell. "You must live," she insists, pushing him toward a collapsible boat. He kisses her hand, clutching the wooden box. "I will see you again, I swear." The deck separates them, a permanent divide carved by destiny.
The final, chilling moment. The magnificent lights of the Titanic flicker, hesitate, and then extinguish. The great ship is plunged into total, absolute darkness. The roar of steam and the sound of the ship tearing itself apart are eclipsed by the ultimate sound of human terror, a collective scream of 2,000 souls. The water is a shock. It is not cold, it is pain. The man, thrown from the deck, is paralyzed by the sudden, overwhelming freeze. The lungs seize, the heart races. Survival is no longer about swimming. It is about resisting the brutal, instant hypothermia of the North Atlantic.
In Lifeboat 4, a survivor looks back. The Titanic is vertical, a dark silhouette against the stars. It is impossible, terrifyingly real. A final roar of metal and the greatest ship disappears, leaving only the sound of grinding machinery deep beneath the surface.
The most terrible sound. For 20 minutes, the silence after the sinking is broken by the cries of hundreds of people freezing to death. The survivors in the lifeboats are paralyzed by fear and the unspoken moral dilemma. Row back and risk swamping the boat, or listen to the dying.
Dawn breaks, revealing the true horror, a field of ice and a small fleet of lifeboats. Then, a distant sight, the RMS Carpathia, salvation. But as survivors are pulled aboard, the joy is muted. The reality of who is missing, the empty spaces in the lifeboats, the 2/3 who did not make it, is a crushing, quiet realization.
New York Herald Extra. Titanic sinks. The world wakes to the impossible truth. The unsinkable is gone. The great ship is at the bottom of the Atlantic, taking with it over 1,500 souls. The initial confidence was a lie. This tragedy will forever change how man views his own technological hubris. The era of blind faith in industry is officially over.